Hi, third graders. Today we're going to start lesson 6, where we are looking at division, but this time with an array model. So here is our array, and I want us to write a repeated addition sentence for this array. So we have 1, 2, 3 rows of 5. So my repeated addition sentence is going to match my rows. 5 here, 5 here, and 5 here. And we're going to write that as our repeated addition. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals what? Well, we can group count by 5s. So 5, 10, 15. 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 15. Now we're going to write a division sentence for 15 divided into 3 equal groups. Well, really we do have 3 equal groups. Here's a group, here's a group, and here's a group. So we know when we write a division equation, we start with our, yes, that's right, our total. So our total is 15. We are dividing them into 3 equal groups because that's what it tells us to do. So we're going to divide by 3. And our quotient, or our answer, is going to be how many are in each group. Well, we already know that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in each group. So 15 divided into 3 groups equals 5. All right, let's look at our application problem. It says 20 children play a game. There are 5 children on each team. How many teams play the game? Write a division sentence to represent the problem. Well, there's 2 things that I already know. I know that we have a total of 20 children, and I know that there's 5 children on each team. So I'm going to draw equal groups of 5 until I get to 20. So here's one group of 5. Here's another group of 5, and we know 2 groups of 5 is 10. 3 groups of 5 is 15. And 4 groups of 5 is 20. So I have a total of 20 children. And if there's 5 on each team, then I circled my groups, and I know I have 1 team, 2 teams, 3 teams, 4 teams. So I know the answer to my first question is 4 teams. The next thing it tells me to do is write a division sentence to represent the problem. Well, how many children do we have in all? Yes, we have 20 children. And what did the problem tell us? It told us that we had 5 children on each team, so we made groups of 5, and this represents the size of our groups. And that equals how many teams or how many groups? Yes, 4 teams or 4 groups. So our total divided into 5 kids on each team equals 4 teams. Now we need to write a division sentence for this array. Well, here we have just a plain old array, and we can look at it and tell that there are 3 rows of 5. Right? Here's a row, and here's a row. So we know if there's 5 here, and another 5 makes 10, and another 5 makes 15. So our total is 15. Now for this problem, we grouped them by the rows. So we divided them into 3 rows, and that gave us the size of each row, or the number of each row, which is 5. But did you know that you could write this in another way? We can actually write this by switching these two numbers. We could say our total of 15, and this time we're going to make this number represent the size of each group. So how many are in each group? We know that there's 5 in each group, and that's going to equal our number of groups or number of rows, which is 3. So all we did was switch these two numbers, but what we really need to understand is that depending on the word problem, we need to know what we're looking for. Here, we solved for the size of each group, and here we solved for the number of groups. So when you're reading a word problem, you need to make sure you know what you are solving for so you can write your division problem in the correct way. So we're going to look at the same problem again, and you're going to draw an array showing 15 divided by 3. So pause the video and go ahead and draw an array showing 15 divided by 3. If your array looks like this, you are correct. This time the problem tells us that our answer, which in 3rd grade we call a quotient when we're talking about a division problem, is the size of the groups. So we know that there's 5 in each group, so that's going to be our quotient or our answer. We know our total is 15. So what did we divide by? We divided by the number of groups here. We know that there are 3 groups. Well, I noticed that when I'm doing a division problem, I can use those same numbers in a multiplication problem. And the way to do that is basically just to flip it. So you could say that when we're writing a multiplication sentence, we can either say 3 groups of 5, which is exactly what we have here, 3 rows of 5 or 3 groups of 5 equals 15. So an easy way to figure out if your your division problem is correct is to think about it like multiplication. Does 3 times 5 equal 15? Yes, it does. So I know that when I flip that, 15 divided by 3 equals 5, I know that I'm correct. So we are going to circle the size of the groups in both problems. Remember, we have this array, and this array represented 15 divided by 3 equals 5. So what in this division equation, what number represents the size of the groups? You're absolutely right, 5. There are 5 x's in each group. When we're talking about this division equation, which number represents the size of the groups? Yes, the same number, 5. So in both equations, whether you're talking about division or multiplication, the numbers represent the same thing. Now, when we're talking about a quotient in a division problem, we know that that's the answer. So in this case, the answer for 15 divided by 3 is 5, and that is the same thing as one of the factors in the multiplication sentence. And both of those represent the size of the group in the problem. Let's do the same thing for 4 times 2. I want you to draw an array showing 4 times 2. Pause the video while you do that. If your array looked like this, you're correct. You have 4 rows of 2. And we know we can count by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, and figure out we have a total of 8. So in a division equation, we know that the total comes first, so I'm going to write 8 here. We divided them into 1, 2, 3, 4, and we know that there are 2 in each row or 2 in each group. So let's write a multiplication sentence for this. We could say we have 4 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 groups of, when we talk about multiplication, we're talking about groups of 2 because there's 2 in each group, and that gives me a total of 8. So again, you can see we use the exact same numbers in the division sentence and the multiplication sentence. So we are going to look at the same array here. And we're going to talk about this same problem. So we had a total of 8. We divided them into 4 rows, and we know that there's 2 in each row. Or we could say 4 rows of 2 equals 8. And we want to circle the size of the groups in both problems. So we know how many are in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 groups, and there's 2 in each group. So we know that the 2 in the division problem and the 2 in the multiplication problem both represent the size of the groups. And the quotient, or the answer to the division problem, is the same here as the 2 as it is here in the multiplication problem. So let's look at our problem set. So it says Rick puts 15 tennis balls into cans. Each can holds 3 balls. Circle the groups of 3 to show the balls in each can. It tells me I need to circle the groups of 3. I'm not making 3 groups. I'm making groups of 3. So there's 3. There's 3. There's 3. There's 3, and there's 3. So let's fill out these problems. How many cans does Rick need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He needs 5 cans. And this tells me that 5 groups of 3 equals 15. So all I have to do is work backwards. 15 divided by 3 equals 5. Let's look at this problem. We have the same numbers here. So, what times 3 equals 5? Let's count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 5 groups of 3 equals 15. Now we need to know 5 times what equals 15. So let's count by 5s. 5, 10, 15. 3. 5 groups of 3 also equals 15. Oh my goodness, we have the same numbers here for division. All we have to do is work backwards. 15 divided by 3 equals 5. And 15 divided by 5 equals, what's missing? 3. We're going to stop there for today. I hope you guys understood our lesson, and if you didn't, as always, you can contact your teacher. And we're going to be talking more about using arrays with division and how division and multiplication are related. Have a great day. Bye.